anything else. My mom wanted an accountant or something cool like that. I wasn't feeling it. So by the time I decided to do music, I pretty much just dropped myself in Saudi Academy.
Okay.
I didn't have support. I couldn't afford the fees or anything like that. But I got a scholarship thanks to Natalie, great woman. And then from then on, this is back in 2019. From then on, it's just been, from one step to another.
So Saudi Academy is 2019.
Yes.
2 questions are coming to mind for me. What year are you born?
I can say that on TV. Okay.
Yeah, you can.
2000.
2000.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, in terms of music, is anybody in your family musical?
No. My mom.
No one sang nothing.
My mom liked pop music when she was in uni. Right about the time she had me, she really liked Mariah Carey's the pop music of the time. And then she switched to Christianity and she just stopped listening to too much music.
Okay.
Yeah. But the music in church was great. It was a Nigerian church, so the music was bomb. It would be 7 minutes of nothing but amazingness on Sundays, that is. So I found my own ear. I needed to fit in when I was in primary school, and then in high school I met a piano.
Okay.
And then that's when I started playing it for myself.
Where did you go to primary?
Makini. Yeah.
So I'm assuming, was there a lot of like stuff besides school, or the school and that was it?
Nah, it was my mom, school, church. My mom, school, church for 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then where did you go to high school?
The school is called St. Joseph's School Rapogi.
Okay.
It was in Migori.
Okay.
My mom wanted me to have a culture shift, and she managed to traumatize me for a while. The culture.
So did you last? Did you finish the whole 4?
My mom told me I wouldn't be able to make it.
Okay. That's a good driving force.
And
right
I was
there.
like, you calling me weak?
Yeah.
So I toughed it for 4 years. It was...
You did the whole 4?
Jesus Christ, I did.
You didn't get expelled.
No,
you didn't bring city vibes. You didn't you went to Migori and you fit in.
Look, I did bring city vibes. Like,
okay.
I was in a school where something as basic as pizza, people haven't even seen.
True.
Right? So it was an entirely different universe. I couldn't talk to people because we had close to nothing in common, and everything, the food, the lifestyle, everybody was just so...
Question, how was the academics?
The academics was actually quite good. I actually managed to have a lot of time by myself because at the beginning I didn't thrive too much socially. I was from Makini. I barely spoke Swahili, right? So I'm going into a space where English is not that prevalent. So I had to talk to people in Swahili. That was one of the hardest things I had to do. And then just the entire thing was just I was traumatized. I lost like 20 kgs in a month. It was crazy. It was crazy. But I toughed it because my mom, every time I wanted to quit, I remember my mom saying, "You're too weak to do it." I was like,
Do you have siblings?
Sorry?
Do you have siblings?
Nah, it's just me.
So you're the only child?
Yeah.
So she really has a grip on you?
Nah, she had enough time to be like, look, there's no one else I'm looking at. It's you, and you can't do it.
Okay.
Yeah. At some point, she wanted to pull me out. But
so in this school, though, a good thing happens because you find this piano.
Yeah.
So how do they have in this Rapudo, whatever you're saying, there's a piano.
There's a piano. This is what happened.
Even bougie schools don't have pianos.
Don't have pianos, exactly. So what happened was, in the second year, in Form 2, the school started having French functions.
Waliomoka.
Something of the sort, exactly. So they started having French functions, and there were only 5 French students in school. That was me. So we couldn't entertain people. Because other schools would bring like 150 people, and we are the entertainment. We are 5 people. If we all did 30-minute pieces, it would not be enough. So I told these guys, get me something that I could use as a tool. They asked me, what are you good at? I told them I sing in church. I didn't. But that didn't matter. So they got us a piano. That changed the game because I had access to it. I was given charge of it. So that's all I did for quite a while.
So can you play keys?
I can play keys, yes.
And before you got this piano, had you ever played, like, you know how my mom forced me to do piano lessons,
Oh,
and she still reminds me about how she paid and how much it was and how it was a waste of her money.
I understand that.
But like, I can't play for shit. But like, had you
yeah.
taken classes, or you just like you were given this piano that shikwa fungua utakuwa unaekanga chunga ikiibiwa ni wewe?
So what happened was, in primary school, I used to go to church. The pianist was, his name is Pastor Toby. He was a pastor and a pianist. He enjoyed having me sit there, and I enjoyed sitting there.
Okay.
So I'd see what he'd do with his fingers. So when I went to high school, I got the Niliperi piano, and I didn't know what to do with it. But I had an idea, because I knew if you put your fingers in certain places, certain sounds make sense. So I knew to play a G chord and a C chord, and I was like, I'm going to figure the rest out. By the time the 4 years ended, I was better than everybody else, so that helped.
So akukuwa na music teacher ichwe yenu?
What are you talking about, music teacher? No.
Okay, then I'm going to ask another stupid question.
Nice, okay, go.
You have a keyboard.
Yes.
You have access.
Uh-huh.
But you know, like, to play, you need like books or like internet. Like, do you have internet in this Migori place?
No.
So
no.
you're self-learning by playing. Okay.
So
like, where are you getting the knowledge? You know, like, even if you get, okay, you can give me a keyboard right now,
but you need some sort of reference.
That's what I'm saying. I need additional. Like, where's that gap? How you feeling this gap? Because that for me is a big gap.
I get that. So for me, I liked listening to music. So what I'd do on the piano those days was play note for note of songs I liked. So it'd be, the song goes, so I go ding 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 ding. Then I call all my friends and play that for them. And then one day I played two of them. I'm like, oh, you can harmonize them. And then I just kept doing that for like a year.
Okay.
And then that evolved. So I'd go home. I forced my mom to buy me a small like Lana keyboard. It didn't have anything. So I'd go home. I go to the internet. I learn these crash courses for like music theory in 20 minutes. They're lies, but I do like 3 or 4 of them in 1 week.
Okay.
Right? I have a good amount of knowledge. And then I go
But then you are making it seem like you're not doing anything in school. When you come home for the holidays and all you care about is piano.
That's actually all I did. I'm an only child. So I don't, and we'd moved out of Nairobi for a bit. So I didn't have much of a social life. My entire, my growing up was in Makini and Nairobi.
Yeah.
In high school, you take me to Migori, and then you move out of Nairobi. I don't know anybody at home or at school. I have nothing.
So where do you guys move to?
Oh, my mom moved to Kakamega for a bit.
So now Migori seems close to Kakamega.
No.
Okay, teach us some geography. So when you go home for holidays, how what was the trip?
Migori to Kisumu. That's around 4 hours.
Okay.
And then Kisumu to Kakamega, that's around 2 hours.
Okay.
So that's
6
an
hours.
annoying 6 hours. And then the waiting time in the middle, it's not worth it.
Okay.
But yeah, so I have nothing to do at home or at school. Well, because at school, other than reading the piano. Yeah, so I had time to pick up the piano, I guess. Yeah.
I'm curious. What's the first time you ever go to a music studio?
Music studio. This is in 20... Oh, God, I remember this one. That's... Okay.
First time ever.
Ever. This was in 2019, January.
Okay.
I walk into that place, and it was a very strange...
Where was it?
In Gong. Jesus Christ.
What's the name of the studio?
Do they have a name?
Probably
I just
not.
know the guys who I was working with.
Okay, so you
Ninth Tribe.
Okay.
Yuck.
So you went to the studio in 2019.
Yes.
Umejipeleka kufanya nini?
Sasa, I met a friend of mine called Ashton. Right? He goes by the airliner Monarch, and he tells me this dream that, there's a recording studio, they could give us a record deal. So let's go. I'm dumb. I'm like, a record deal sounds like what musicians who make it get, right? So
True.
I ran there. All I
To get a record deal?
Yeah, to get a record deal.
Can you even sing?
No. In 2019, I couldn't sing.
So what are you going to do?
All I knew I could play the piano. I was like, maybe I'll be able to do something on the... I can't produce, I can't sing, I can't do anything. All I know is how to play the piano a bit.
Okay.
Right? Because again, I haven't had enough of experience. So we get into this studio, and there's rappers, and there's musicians who sing off key and stuff like that. Like a very unprofessional place. And I think to myself, this is it. This is what happens. So I kind of quit for like a week because I was really discouraged. I was like, I can't do anything other than play the piano. I can't sing, I can't write. And the people who are here are not really impressive, other than, Ashton, my friend. But that was Yeah, that was the first time I went to
Did
Australia.
you record? Did you at least record?
No.
You didn't even record?
Nothing. The first thing I recorded was like 6 months after.
How do you end up? Okay, so 6 months after, what gets you to now get to record properly?
I finally wrote my first song.
Tell us the story of that.
Okay, I'm dating this girl. Relationship is whack. It's horrible. But I'm an only child, right?
So you persevere?
I persevere because it's the first... it's the first time. This was the thing. Yeah, I lived with her at that time, yeah?
Okay.
So what was going on in my head was, for the first time, because during my teenage...
How old are you?
How old am I?
At the point that you're living with someone?
I'm 19.
That's not healthy.
That is not healthy, no.
Like,
I ran away from
at
home.
19,
my mom didn't
mean?
want me to do music, so I ran away from home. I was like, I'm going to do this one way or another. She was like, if you don't want to do what I'm telling you, you can go figure it out. I was like, gotcha.
Okay, so pause. Shut down.
Yeah, we skipped something.
This is where we do a commercial break, but there's no commercials, there's no water. This is just, we keep it going. So,
yeah.
Throughout your 4 years, you're able to somehow make it in Migori.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Somehow.
And you get the blessing of, different opportunities. Piano comes along.
Mm-hmm.
At this point when you're in high school, what do you want to do when you finish high school?
I don't know yet, but I know it has something to do with math. Because
Okay.
I'm really good at math.
Like how good?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just thinking mathematics, something?
I'm just thinking I'll do something mathematical.
Okay. So how do you... And every holiday you just focus on piano?
All I do is play the piano because it feels fun.
But you don't know if you can sing or if you've not sung.
Oh, no,
but you just play piano.
All I know is I had the weekend song and played it. That's good enough for me, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you finish Form 4.
Yeah.
What's the plan for after?
So my mom has a friend who lives in the UK. Thank God I finished high school when I was 17. My mom had a plan. The plan was I'll finish high school, go to the UK, spend the last few days of December there. And then in January, this lady works in Deloitte. So she'll call me to work, and then she'll introduce me. I'll get an internship, and then they'll start paying. And then my life has started. They didn't ask me for my permission.
For this plan?
No, it was just like... I was told you're going to the UK. I was like, yeah, okay. So we go to the UK, and then they reveal the plan to me.
While you're in the UK?
While I'm in the UK.
Wait, does the Deloitte lady know the plan?
Oh, yeah, it was her idea. She gave it to my mom. My mom was like, my son is going to get this job in Deloitte when he's 19. This is great. Yeah.
Okay, so at least you're in the UK.
At least I'm in.
Some of us have never been. So what the fuck are we saying?
Don't go in January, so I'll tell you. It's really cool.
The winner.
Yeah.
Okay, so you finished Form 4. Yeah. The first holiday that December you finished. Even they don't even announce results.
Oh no, I got them when I was in the UK.
Look at you. So you could have done nothing.
I could have done nothing.
Okay, so you're now in the UK for holidays.
Yeah.
Okay, let the Deloitte story just fall flat. Let's do that.
So we're doing the Deloitte thing. The very first day she tells me about it, I go, guys, I'm 17. She's like, that shouldn't be a problem. I'll go find out tomorrow. They go to the office and tell them we can't have a 17-year-old immigrant. Bring him next year. It's a bad enough case that he's an immigrant. He doesn't even have a work visa.
Yeah.
I have a visit.
He's visiting.
Yeah. So I have 6 months to be in the UK before they have to deport me back.
Yeah.
So thank God I was 17. So they told me, you just hang out here for the next 3 months.
Oh, nice.
So I spent January, Feb, and March in the UK. And they told me,
and what were you doing? So now you would be in Kakamega.
Jesus
you would
Christ.
be in Kakamega.
That's not the same. Let me tell you. That's why I was so happy to leave. I was like, look.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever the plan is, no matter how shaky that plan is, it's better than it's better than whatever you would be doing at home.
Yeah. It was 100 times, a million times. But you see, I'm an artist. This is something I've learned as I've grown up. I'm an artist. So I used to find peace and joy in being able to explore. So I told my host lady, you don't have to worry about entertaining me. I know you have work,
a job, a life.
Yeah, life. Yeah. You just make sure I have money to travel. Traveling in the UK is expensive, but also it's cheap. This is why if you travel 5 times in the day, every time, so you have a card, you swipe it on a bus, they subtract £1.50. It doesn't matter where you're going. But after you travel 5 times, the rest of the day you travel is free.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can travel as
So
many times.
£1.50 times 5, so 1.5 times 5, and then after that it's free.
And then after that it's free.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you put 10, you should be good for the day.
Yeah. You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I told her, this is what I want from you. You guys have a lot of McDonald's coupons. I've never had a McDonald's. I'm from here. So you give me your coupons. I'll be having them for lunch. You give me a map. I didn't have a phone I didn't have a SIM card. So I couldn't access internet as soon as I left the house because I needed Wi-Fi. So just give me a physical map and a travel card and coupons for food and some money for food. You'll see me in the evening. I'll never get lost. That's a lie. I got lost like 6 times. But that's beside the point.
Yeah. But how are you so confident and like able to convince her this? Like, how can you even you're just why are you so mjanja like this that you've thought it out like that?
I started by being her friend first.
Okay.
The first few weeks I was there, I was really
And
nice.
your mom left you now with her?
Oh yeah, she stayed there for 2 weeks of the holiday and then she came back.
Because she knew you have a job.
Oh yeah, she's like,
you
my son has a job, let me go back to my job. But my son, you know, but that's not what happened.
When results come out, what happens?
My mom she doesn't care too much. It was Matiangi year.
Okay.
So 2,000 of us have above C+. I have a B. To me, that's a fail
great.
because
why?
I'm an A student.
Okay.
I get a B.
Okay.
That feels like a bird. But I'm like what? Number 600 in the country.
Okay.
That's fine by me, dog. Because like only 2,000 of us got
above C+.
You know.
Yeah.
So my mom doesn't care too much. She's like, your results won't matter because you're doing an internship in Deloitte.
Shit. So if school is not even like he needs to go to school
what
now.
What are you talking about school? Like I'll do Deloitte, I'll do a crash course when I'm 40. Who
Okay,
cares,
cool.
man?
So now me, I'm trying to figure out the best solution in this scenario, and this is past tense, but like, would be to stay in the UK longer.
Yeah, that would have been a good solution.
To figure out how to, like, you could have said, I want to go to school here, or get a job, or find
what I said.
Yeah. So now, what happens?
So a few things broke loose. So in the first few weeks before we come to January, I really befriend this lady. I go with her everywhere. I'm gonna say this on camera. She used to like to go to certain places that her husband wouldn't go with her, like to talking clubs and places where they just give speeches and they talk about like emergent ideas and stuff like that. I'd go with her.
Yeah, she wanted company, and you provided company.
Yes.
Everybody wants company.
So she trusted me.
Okay.
Right. So and also she's quite adventurous herself. So when I suggested, my guy, just give me money, I'm out of here. I'll be back before you. She was completely okay with that. Several times I didn't have money, I got lost, but that wasn't the point. I started going. And then I went to everything you could think of. I went to the London Eye, to Tate Modern, to the Arsenal Stadium. I went to all the museums that are in London. There's a day I almost went to Cambridge. The money, you know. But she took me later on, but that's not the point. Point is, I discover that they have universities there that do open days.
True.
There's recording studios. True. There's music schools. So I think to myself,
So at this point, you don't know what you want to do after school.
No, I don't know.
But you're just exploring.
I'm exploring.
And there's no pressure.
There's none. And then I left out one key detail. The house I moved into, the guys I was staying with, the husband to this lady is a retired guy. He has a music room. And let me tell you, this music room is unlike anything I've ever seen, at least in person. He has a grand piano. He has
in his music room. In the house.
That house was huge.
And you happen to just happenstance live in the house.
Live in that house.
And was he okay with you going to his room?
Oh yeah, he loved it. Like these people enjoyed the fact that somebody cared about their things. Because like the wife would always go to her things. He'd be left here doing his own things. The son doesn't care. He's playing computer games. So I'm there. I'm kissing everybody's ass pretty much. And then this guy has a music room and it has everything. It has a variety of just hung acoustic and electric pianos and guitars. Guitars and bass guitars and grand piano, an electric piano. He has 2 or 3 monitors. The room looks like paradise. It's just musical things all around. He has records. He has a vinyl. He has Jesus. So I'd go to that room all the time and just play the piano. It would be a way to relax at the time. So I'd have a very stressful thing happening, like I've had a long day, maybe I got lost, maybe I lost something, maybe I just come sit there, play the piano and feel better, you know. Or even when nothing was wrong, it just felt great playing the piano. And then he saw I have an interest, so he'd give me a few notes, like try this, try that. So fast forward now, when I start going and doing my rounds, I go to an open day in a university, and then it's the University of London. And this guy is talking about university is not the only way in life.
At a university.
This killed me. This killed me.
Make it make sense.
I was like, why would you call this guy to your institution? He's taking business away from you. Anyway, this guy tells pretty much everybody, don't come to university if it's not what you want to do. Don't think about it in terms of, I have to get papers. Think about it in terms of, I want to learn a certain skill.
True.
If your skill is found here, come here and do what you need to do. Otherwise, you'll just be another person who's here chasing some degree that you don't really care about, and then your life goes down the drain. I heard what this guy said, and then I went back home and played the piano, and I was like, maybe I should try this piano thing out, you know? So for the next 2 or 3 days, I go to recording studios. I sing for them. I am awful. I can't sing. This is back because I finished my high school in 2017. So this is happening in the first 3 months of 2018. I know nothing. All they kept telling me was, you have the potential, but you need to get skilled. So I thought these guys would like me to go to maybe school, right? And
to get skilled.
Yeah, to get skilled. And maybe my mom would be okay with me going to university here, right? Because the Deloitte thing isn't quite working out. So what if I do both? What if I go to a university and do music? I brought that idea up to my mom. She hung up on me on a Skype call. She hung up on me because music is not a career. What are you talking about? Music is a thing you do after your career, you know? And then the lady I was living with was also quite old school. She was like, look at my husband. My husband does it for fun. He has all these things for fun. Hey, they're not the ones paying the bills. I'm like, yeah, but they can, you know? But they don't care about any of that. So I went and applied to a couple of music schools. One accepted me. They're called ICMP. I can't remember what it means in full. I still have their emails. It breaks my heart. They accepted me. They told me the fee was ridiculous. For something like £5,000 or something like that. They said they'd pay 75% of it. That's a scholarship. They'd pay 75% of it. So I only had to pay like £1,000 or something like that for the 4 years. I was like, surely, guys, this is a lot of money. I know, but
£1,000
£1,000 versus £5,000 for a degree come on, guys, you know? So I was really excited. I went, I got the papers, they showed me the buildings, they had studios, and it was a thing of dreams. I come back to the house. They sit me down and tell me how music is not really a career because only 1 in 100 people make it. And Jesus Christ, that day was so tough. And then I go tell my mom, and she's also like, nah, they're right. Go to Deloitte. So I think that was the day, like, I severed. I think that day, I severed for some time my relationship with my mother. Like I was like, you have no idea how hard I've worked for this. And then you're just taking it away. So we're done. That's actually why I was 19 and I was living with somebody else. Because these guys made me come back to Kenya after struggling to get a scholarship. And then they waved it off because it's not accounting.
So, in 2018,
yes,
the first 3 months, you're in the UK.
Yeah.
But this same 2018 is when you go to Saudi.
So 2019.
2019 when you go to Saudi.
Yes.
And you're going to the studio before Saudi?
I went to the studio before Saudi.
So now when you come back is when you're trying to go to studios.
So now when I come back,
so you have to come back now. Your friends you've left your friends and now you're back home.
Now I'm back home, bro. I changed my number back to the Kenyan one. Very annoying. I didn't know what to do because my mom was like, if you don't want to do, because now we have to last minute apply for university because now you've ruined everything by being 17. So now we have to last minute apply for university. We apply, I get into cooperative university. Doing a very silly course called entrepreneurship.
So it's a good way to waste time.
It was, yes.
Great way, sorry.
It was even more silly because we were the pioneer class. You know how
first ever.
Yeah, first ever. You know how every uni
was it a degree or diploma?
Or degree. And this is the
bachelor's of the entrepreneurship.
Can you imagine?
That's trapping right there.
And then
but if I was 17, I'd be trying to get out of my mom's house.
Yeah.
So I'm down to get out.
I'm going, yeah. So it's in 18 in July of 2018 that I turn 18. in my head, I'm like, let me just endure my mother until I go to university.
Okay.
So now her NGO has moved her to some place called Bondo.
Okay.
She's living in very
remote areas.
Yeah, but she was making bank. Jesus Christ, these NGOs. Anyway, so at that time, I decide, let me convince my mom I want to go to university.
Okay.
Because she'll think I'm in university. I'll go out there.
It'll make her happy.
Yeah. I'll do what she says, at least on paper. I get to uni like this. I start making friends. I start looking for a way out. I go for a TV show called Vipaji. They took it down at GBS.
Okay.
I go for that TV show, complete waste of time. They end up making me the pianist as opposed to an auditioner contestant. We work in that band with.
But I mean, of course, you're the good pianist. You're good with pianos, don't you? Well, can't you tell? Like no one's asking you to sing. Everybody knows you're good with the piano.
By then I couldn't sing, so I was wasting my time singing. But I meet this guy in the band called Angachi. Angachi works with me in that band. A few weeks later, he calls me and tells me, "Hey, the guys who are looking for a pianist. They'll pay. Do you want to come?" I was like, "They'll pay?" Yeah. Best believe, you know. I go there, and that's the day I go to Sauti Academy. Because he was a member of Sauti, he was a student in Sauti Academy, and they needed somebody to play piano for their graduation.
At Sauti?
At Sauti. So I go to Sauti in December of 2018.
Look at that blessing right there.
Yeah, it was a miracle. Like, things just lined up. So I go, I play the piano for these guys. It's not great, but it's better than they didn't have a pianist. So we play for them. We finish. I tell them, guys, look, if you ever need a pianist, call me. I'll show up. I'm broke as hell. So I'd sacrifice my food money so that I could come for rehearsals and things like that. And then Natalie notices I'm always at the school. So she's the owner of the school. She comes and asks me, "You're always here. Why are you not auditioning?" I'm like, "I'm poor. I cannot pay for this." And
how much was the cost?
It was just 30K.
Okay.
But 30K
so
for 3 months.
but 30K for 3 months, and at this point you and your mom are not. Are you in uni or you are beefing?
I'm in uni. We're beefing because we're not quite talking.
But are you actually going to class? Because how comes you actually didn't go?
What are you talking about, class? Why? I had better things to do. Music.
I get it, but like grades, school fees.
She does. Look, all she needs to know is at the end of the semester.
But you at least fake it and go to class a bit.
No, look, fake it and do exams.
Okay. So you at least like you didn't like did not show up and you didn't fail. Okay.
I stole. I'm gonna be honest about that. I completely every exam I did BS. There's one exam.
Okay. I want to upload this eventually, so just keep. But so you're in Saudi hanging out now. You are scared of the fees because when you're given cash, it's for school fees.
And it's not for my mom pays the school fees directly.
Oh, so you don't even get to touch it.
Pocket money for food.
And how much are we talking?
It's not much. She used to give me like 1,000 a week or something. It's not much.
And where were you living?
In the hostels. So that's also been paid for in the fees.
So, and how far is Saudi from your school? For you to be going every day?
Saudi was at Dagoretti Corner, and this is in Karen Hardy.
Yeah, I know.
So to get to, you take that Naboka vehicle, it's 30 bob, and then you take another 30 bob to corner. So it's 60 bob to go. The days you're going to town, it's also.
And you're going every day?
Almost.
Like it's your job?
It's figured a point where,
Okay, so how do you get into Saudi?
Natalie, one day after graduation, because I've been playing for a bunch of classes, she comes and just tells me on what Alliance Francaise. She goes, "So I have good news for you." I'm like, "What?" "You have a scholarship." I lost my mind. I completely lost my mind. I screamed completely.
Did you cry?
Of course. Okay. It was horrible. They spilled everywhere. It was a complete mess. Anyway, this is now around May of 2018. I'm now 2019.
But you know what I can tell about you? When you're committed to something, you go for it.
Oh yeah.
Like you're going to apply. You are like, okay, I want this. You just when you're for something, you're for something.
Because it's the only I didn't grow up knowing I had options. As I grew up as an only child, so anything I've ever wanted, I had to go and get it.
Okay.
So it seemed I grew up and realized, oh wait, there's people think there's options. I never think like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So now in 2019, I've had the experience with. First of all, I'm living with my girlfriend in Gong. Why? Because after my.
So you've left the hostel.
I've left the hostel. Yes.
But is the hostel still being paid for?
Yeah.
So you have 2 cribs, or you have one? You don't go. You've rented it to someone else.
I'm not even. I should have thought of that. I should have thought of that. I was young. The concept of money wasn't quite. All I knew was.
So you have abandoned a place that's been paid for with food to go trap and struggle with your girlfriend.
Look, music, man.
Okay.
So I go get into Saudi. This is now around May of 2018 or 2019. Sorry, and then I break up with this girl.
The one you're living with?
Yes.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah, I know.
Whose apartment was it? Deposit?
So
who has to leave? There's so many questions. You
So
see, you just take in the hostel.
I know. But she had told her mother she's living in a hostel outside school. So her mom would send her 4-5 to pay for the hostel because the hostel was 4 people, each pay 4-5. But we're living in a bedsitter, so it's 9K. So I just have a whole month to make sure.
Find 4-5.
Find 4-5.
Okay.
That's all I have.
But what about food, water, electricity?
Yeah, look, we trap until we see what happens. It was vibes. It was very strange. If you look at my photos then, I was looking very healthy, very skinny.
We'll go on and jar. We'll go on a struggle.
Hey, guys look at me now. They're like, "Hey, you've been eating." I'm like, I wasn't back then.
That's true. So, do you continue this program?
With the Saudi Academy?
No. So the academy you finish. You graduate, of course, right?
No.
What?
Because it bled into my last 2 semesters bled into.
So can you graduate? Will you ever graduate?
No, Saudi closed.
It's a wrap.
Yes, it's gone.
And the university, did you finish?
Why?
You dropped out?
That's gone. Yeah, that's gone. My mom found out. By the time she found out, I was like,
What did she find out?
How did she find out?
What did she find out?
What did she find out?
Yeah.
She found out that I'd been given a sus. Not a sus. What do you call it? A soup? Is it a soup? When you have to repeat an exam?
Yeah.
A supplementary. There we go. That's the name I was looking for. So I got that. They emailed the results to me. My mom, however, had access to my email at the time.
That is crackhead behavior.
Yes, I am in full agreement. So she sees the email. She calls me. She's like, "Yo, you have a supplementary." I'm like, "Don't stress." She's like, "No, I'm very stressed. I'm coming to Nairobi." I'm like, "Oh darn." She comes to ask where I sleep. I'm like, "They don't let parents there." She's like, "You're lying to me, but okay. Can I at least go talk to the administration?" No, I can't talk out of that one. Wow, it was a funny. I had so many complaints
from teachers.
Yeah. My course had 22 students.
It's easy to notice.
The first one. Yeah. So that one is not here. Yeah. We can see him. He's not here. So I had so many. My mom was just like, and then the school tries to mediate. Do you want him to defer? My mom is like, defer and go where? And then at the time she's lost her job also. Okay. So she's not doing great.
So she's stressed.
It was a fun that week when she found out. She rained hellfire on me.
So, umeachwa bado ama hujachwa at this point?
Hapa sasa nimeachwa.
So you're single?
Yes.
Your mother knows. You are a struggling artist.
Yeah.
Hakuna sauti, lakini uko na kasauti
kidogo kiplani.
So now what happens?
My mom loses her job, so miraculously she has to move back to Nairobi.
Okay.
Because
what's she doing in Bondo?
Exactly.
True.
So she moves everything back to Nairobi. But she tries to buy a piece of land. So she takes all her savings, empties into the piece of land.
Where's the piece of land though?
Kakamega. Because she's thinking she'll farm there. She'll do some greenhouse things. We'll be back on our feet. No problem.
Cute.
So she empties.
But she didn't know. This is before COVID, right?
This is before COVID.
So she was
bro. She was sure.
Yeah.
Like, this will work.
Yeah.
Wait. We took a beating, bro. It figured a point where we're staying, me and my mom in the house like this. It's like, I can't stand you, you can't stand me.
And are you Nairobi or in Kakamega?
This is in Nairobi. Okay. This is before COVID.
Okay.
Like we were already, because my mom didn't have.
So is she looking for a job or what's the situation?
She's actively looking for a job, but her CV is a bit too impressive.
Okay.
She was a director in Makini. She left that to become a director in an NGO, and then left that to become a director in another NGO. No one's hiring her.
Why?
Because most accountants are hired because they're going to be paid peanuts. An accountant at my mom's level, it's not a job you get because you did an interview. It's a connection thing.
Okay.
So you're not.
Someone has to die for you to get that job.
Oh yeah, 100%. Okay. No one is employing the kind of accountant that you have to pay 700.
Okay.
They want these guys you can pay 50 and confuse.
Yeah, of course.
So my mom is like, look, I know my worth. Look at my CV. They're like, you take your worth somewhere else. So
can I ask you a kind of personal question?
Yeah, sure.
Where's your dad in the whole picture? Did you ever meet him? Is he alive, or is it? Can we not talk about it?
We can. Okay. I'm very open about these things. This is actually a cool one. My mom and my dad, I didn't know this at the time. So they broke up when I was 2. No, when I was 2 months.
Okay.
And he just...
So you were already born?
Yeah, I was born.
Okay.
How they broke up is, from my mom's perspective, the man went to Mombasa. and said he'll call her when he gets there. So he's still traveling because he's
never called back.
So he might be at like Lamu or something like that. We don't.
So she got a feeling.
Yeah, of course. I mean, bruh, what?
So does he have a reason why he never called?
Oh yeah, he ditched.
Oh, he actually did.
He absconded. Yeah.
Oh, have you ever met him?
No, this is what happened. So he met my mom.
I feel like that would be fun to go. Is he alive?
Yeah. I
have his number. What's up?
I have his number. I think I'm gonna meet him this year. I'm gonna make it a thing. This is what happened in 2020.
We were all doing nothing in 2020.
Yeah, so one day my mom is walking with her sisters, my aunts, and then he sees her. And then he calls her. So he
on the phone or like, wait.
No, he tries to do a way. She doesn't hear. Like that. Actually, that last one seems more so it doesn't work. So my mom comes to meet me in Junction. And then he somehow looks for her number and finds it and calls her. While I'm with my mom at Junction. We're sitting down, we're talking. And then he gives my mom a call and he's like, hi, it's me. Blah, 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 blah.
He finally called.
Yeah, he finally called. Yes! And then my mom is like, oh, by the way, I'm here with him. Do you wanna? He hung up that phone quick. He just, as soon as she mentioned I'm there, I think he's afraid to face me.
Because now you're a living, breathing thing.
Yeah, and
you're a thing where now you like have opinions and you're grown and you have foodies.
I can tell him things politically. It's like, look, I have a girlfriend.
Okay.
But it was a bit cowardly, I guess. But it's not necessarily cowardly.
So I guess like be the bigger man. Not like be the bigger man and like look for him. And I feel like you're big. You've turned out to be an amazing man. Like he'd be lucky to be in your life.
In my life, yeah.
She must.
Hopefully, when I make money, I don't have to give him some.
Meet him when you don't have money.
Yeah,
and then you drop him.
Now,
then you ghost him when you make money.
Then I ghost him. Yeah. It's like, my dude, stop calling.
Yeah. No, block him. Are you mad? So, I have a few questions.
Yeah, shoot.
What's your real name?
We can say that.
Of course, we have to.
My name is. I'm gonna ask you as a question. Do you know the second?
Your name is Michael. What is your name?
What is my name? Yes, it is. Do you know the name of the vice president who has that name?
Wamalwa?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is my name. Michael Wamalwa. Yes.
So that's your real name?
That's my real name, yeah. I used to be on exam papers in primary school, so.
What do you mean your exam names?
Oh, it's see there's somebody in social studies who has the name Michael Wamalwa. So they'd put him on multiple choice questions. And I'd always pick me, even if I know I would be wrong, cause.
And Wamalwa is not your real dad.
Oh, he's not my dad, no.
Because he had a lot of kids too.
Yeah, that man. There's a tribe I don't date from. It might be my sister, man.
Okay.
I don't know.
So, I'm trying to figure something out.
Shoot.
The first time I came across you was an email music submission.
Yes.
And let me tell you something about me as a person and how I run this organization. And they're trying to overthrow me, but so far I donate the most, so they can't really do much. But if you wanna like be the CEO, you can donate more than me. Yeah. But we have to call you for the interview.
Yeah.
It's like if you're asking for an interview, how Jafika?
That's true.
In the sense of because do you know like I've received all your emails, but it's until I've sat down with your project and sat down with it and I'm like, I want to talk to that person because they made that. You see, if you ask, I don't want to sit down with someone, I don't know who you are, I don't know what you're
You
see, that you and your one song want an interview, are you mad? Like I think, imagine if someone recorded a song today and they got an interview today. It'd be so pathetic to tell us about your story. You have no story, bro. You have one song, you need to figure it out and then come back. Like, I can't interview you at you're starting the journey today at nah, nigga.
You know, I should
be another person.
I should be insulted, but this is great.
No, but actually I have your music. I have your emails from 2022.
No, I know. I've been.
But it's until like I'm checking for you.
Yeah. That we can actually talk
about.
No, I get that.
And it's not disrespectful. No, it's just.
I understand. Believe me, I do.
Things take time to ripe. You know, like.
I really do. My problem is, this is all I have. You have to understand. You know, like this is like you have you have the luxury of choosing who to call.
Yeah.
I completely understand
Yeah.
that. And I write the most preposterous emails.
No, your emails are here. He says, "My name is Clark Keeng. I'm an
Jesus
artist and
Christ.
creative entrepreneur."
Oh my
He has
God.
other ones. He's like,
Stop.
your friendly neighborhood rock star.
Shut up. I am your friendly neighborhood.
Mandem, I've seen you from time. I've seen you from February 2022. Maybe it's a banger year. Check this out. You see,
Yeah.
God is great. We even did your music on I Never Heard This,
did.
and you even responded and said, "Let's do something, anything, interviews, shows." But bro, we're here because of your album,
Yeah.
and it's quite sick. Like, I listened to it, and can I tell you what I love most about your album?
Talk to me.
It sounds like nothing else. That is the reason you are here today, because that project sounds like nobody else. I'm like, who the fuck made this? What are they about? What is this? Because
Yeah.
it wasn't Gengetone, and I love Gengetone. It wasn't Amapiano, and I love It was. I'm like, what? And I'm like, I have these guys' music submissions. And this is in person. Like, what's been going? Like, so I was like, So I'm like, damn. So I went and I even listened to. So I first listened to Mr. Keeng, and listened to it again, and then I went to listen to MDC. Mountains Don't Care.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. And then I'm telling you, I've listened to your music submissions, and then this album, and I'm like,
It's different. Yeah.
we need to sit down. Like, I was gonna have Costa Ojuang. I replaced.
Wow.
So like,
Thank
I
you.
need to understand, because what's this? And I want us to start from a different perspective of the coolest thing about kind of getting to discover you right now for me is when I say your name, I feel like I'm saying King.
Yes.
And I love it. I'm like, it's like King. But then it's like, you have to say it to get it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Like, but bro, it's like, I'm so your music is so amazing. So
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You have an incredible album. I want to play the whole thing, because I don't think you can experience it by listening to like
a bit
you
of
like,
it.
and then you like a bit. I want to play the whole thing. The tears to intro the next one. Like, I want to play the whole thing.
Okay, I'm here. Thank you.
We're starting from somewhere. I need us to start from the name.
The name, Mr. Keeng.
Because when I asked you what your real name was, I knew what your real name was, and it made no sense how your real
it transitioned
name.
from this to this.
Yeah. So I want us to start from there. I have to do my journalistic due diligence.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you the short story of Mr. Keeng very quickly. How the name Clark Keeng came was, I had one childhood hero growing up. That's obvious.
Clark Kent.
Yes, Clark Kent. The duality of this man, the fact that nobody knows who he is, but he's like everyone's god at the same time, is unbelievable to me. So I chose Clark. That idea of Bruce Wayne, Superman's The Flash, all that. So I took Clark from that. But one day, I was in that studio I told you about in 2019, and then this rapper kept calling himself King. I won't say second.
Rappers love to say that.
Love to say King. And I was like, this is so played out. You guys all say King. And then I was like, imagine if I was the king of these niggas. And then I'm Clark. So I'm Clark King.
Yeah.
But it's missing something, you know?
Because if it was Clark King, it wouldn't be the same.
It's not the same. No, it's not special.
Yeah.
Then I put a double E. I said it the first time, and I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm gonna. So later on, I make this project. Actually, I first of all make MDC. A few people try and introduce me on stages. They fumble that name. They say king and queen just fine. But when it's my turn, they go Clark, Keeng, Keg.
Can I just say Clark King? Because it's written like that. We just say it. Yeah.
It's just, it's easy.
Yeah.
But I got so frustrated about how people don't know the name and how they struggle with it. So what I did was I started singing. I made it a tagline. In almost every song, I have the sinister laugh, and then I go King, 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 so that people can get the name. And then I also called the lead single Mr. Keeng. I also called the album Mr. Keeng, just so that we can say King enough times and get it out of the way, because we can't keep getting stuck.
Mr. Keeng is an amazing lead single.
Thank you.
Something stands out to me about this as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's intentional or not, but the cover.
Yeah.
The cover for me, it makes it. I could see that as myself. You see, it's not as much as it's you.
It's not really.
It's not a human.
It's not supposed to.
Yeah. And I like that, because anybody could be Mr. Keeng.
That's a
You know, like
point,
it's like
actually,
you know, Macmende. I'm Minio Tero. It's like I could be Mr.
There
You
we
know.
go, there we
So I don't know. Tell us about the cover because I feel like that's a huge part of this project for me. Like the cover.
Okay, so I have to give this one to a friend of mine called Fred.
Okay.
Man's a genius. He goes by the Wrath of Sponge. Beautiful man. What he did was, I showed him the idea I had for Mr. Keeng, the cover, and he was like, "If you were to make a cover art, what would you like it to look like?" So I explained to him, I go by the tagline, "Your friendly neighborhood rockstar." Could you put that into articulation? Could you articulate that for me? So he got a friendly looking guy with 6 fingers and a guitar, and he became your friendly neighborhood rockstar. He took that image from a photo I had put for the lead single's video, me wearing some sort of white cream suit. So he took that and he made that the reference point.
Because that's also the cover for the single.
The single, yeah.
And I kind of like it's with the cover for the album. It's kind of like a better, more improved version of that kind of
was
concept.
Supposed to be the idea. Yeah. It was supposed to be like, this is, if you listen to Mr. Keeng, you've listened to a not very high resolution version of the album.
True.
But once you listen to the entire album, it like cleans out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now a few questions for me.
Shoot.
The tagline, your friendly neighborhood rock star.
Yes.
Why is that your tagline?
What's that my tagline? Growing up, big fan of, I think we've established superheroes. But I'm also a big fan of Kevin Hart, especially his work ethic. This guy used to call himself a comedic rock star. He's the only comedian who has a tagline, and he's a billionaire. The only comedian who's also a billionaire. It's like, oh, word? Okay, cool. So you can have a tagline. So the idea of a tagline came from Kevin Hart.
Okay.
And then, so specifically even the word rock
because like if you open your link tree, that's the thing that comes up in your signature bio, you sign that. Exactly. So it's intentional. I don't know many artists with a tagline. So I'm like, okay, tell us why
Kevin
even
Hart has one, and I was like, I love you a bit too much, so I took Rockstar from him, and then I took Your Friendly Neighborhood from Spider-Man, obviously, and then just like put those two together. And also it's because it seemed one of the things I really like to do more than just the music is use the music as a tool to have such conversations and just talk and experience other people, you know, in a very localized way, because I feel like generally just talking to 10 million people is like, it's great, but you get more from having a genuine conversation with one person. So that to me feels a lot more neighborhoody, because one day hopefully will be big enough to talk to 10 million people, but I'd like still to be able to talk to one person directly, even if it's through the music. So I think of my music as a tool to talk to individuals. So that makes me a friendly neighborhood rock star, as opposed to,
You said that, and it's interesting how when you realized it, but like you said, when you were in the UK, it's when you realized you were an artist.
Yeah.
You've described yourself as an artist and a creative entrepreneur. With regard to your journey, are you fully committed to like, okay, so university is not an option for you.
It's dead.
You're pursuing this as a career.
Yes.
For the rest of your life. Like this is forever. Like
it's
you're not going to be gone. You're not like
there's no point when I'll be a model. That's dead. Yeah.
Okay. How do you, how do you discover your sound? Because one thing that I liked about your music, and I'm referring to the album that I listened to, was it's mature in a sense that I can listen to it with anybody. I feel like, and I can really, and I'm saying this because I'm even thinking about like what you were sharing is the sense of like you communicate very well with adults, you communicate very well with your peers, and I feel like your music in the same way is something that cuts across.
Yeah, I also teach children, so
it's not limited to. I feel like your music is not limited. You know, like a lot of people box themselves in.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a very interesting sound. So I'm curious as how you found your sound and how you define your sound, because it's your edge, but I don't know if it's something you've understood yet or it's something you're figuring out.
I'm definitely figuring out as I go. But what I do is, this is actually a conversation I had with her today. What I like to do is, if it feels right, we're going to go with it. And I don't like to rush things. I'm sure you can tell by the project. I like things to take their time to simmer. So I'm going to put something. If it feels good, I'm going to keep that there. If I feel like adding anything, I'm just going to, whatever sounds good to me. And I consume a lot of music. I consume your classicals music. I consume your blues music, your Ray Charleses, your James Brownses. I consume your Chris Brownses, your rappers, your local music, your motivos, your whatever rock. Like music is like, I just can't.
Because I did hear you almost like do bits of rap in the album and like do chants and then you do different things.
I do what I hear, and I hear a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah. So I get inspiration from as many sources as possible, and then whatever sounds good to me, hey man, that's going on the project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but your music to me has some sort of spirituality.
It does, yes.
And I was trying to figure out what the word I should use is, but I'd say spirituality. So I guess I've had music submissions of people who describe themselves as like Christian rock or Christian rap, but like I don't say you're making gospel music.
I'm not, no.
But I hear a spiritual. Am I hearing things?
No,
I be smoking things, so I be hearing things
sometimes.
So I don't like.
That was cool. I do not make. I don't make a particular type of. I don't make gospel music. Let me answer it like that. I however draw my inspiration from. I read a lot. I study quite a bit. I like to understand the. I think if I were to study anything, which I do, the thing that I study the most is I think it's epistemology, the study of knowledge. I like to understand people, so I got very obsessed with psychology like in 2020, and I study that. I have so many friends who are psychologists, and all I do is sit down with them and just listen, and they tell me stuff about Freud, and I go read, and I'm like, crazy, this guy could do that. But at the same time, I listen to people who are more into economics and social things and political things and religious things, and people who analyze the Bible, the Quran, the Taoist texts, Buddhist texts, and all that.
Nyi watu mnakatanga shuleni mnaendanga kusoma vitu zingine, mnakataa shule lakini you go read for yourselves.
Yes, that's the plan.
It throws me off. But I love it.
Shule nilikuwa nafunza macroeconomics. Haiko ina bamba.
True.
So in my music, what I aim for is what I aim for in real life. In real life, I'd much rather go somewhere and sit down with one person and talk. I'm not really a party person because I don't enjoy going to just general social things where nothing particular is happening. I mean, once in a while is great, but I'd much rather sit down. You come to my show, we sit down and talk about shit. I'd much rather that.
Okay.
So because of that, even in my music, it's almost like I'm communicating what I think to you. And then it's like, well, what do you think about that? And then you can tell me what you think, and then we have some sort of conversation. At least go think about it, so that next time you come to my show, you can tell me that I'm wrong here or something like that. So what I try and communicate in my music, either directly or abstractly, is what I think and feel to the depths that I can explain it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a lot of good questions.
I love that.
I want to know. Remember when you were having to come up with 4-5?
Yes.
Where were you getting the money?
Bro, the Lord is good. I don't know. I don't have an honest answer. Sometimes I'd borrow. Sometimes it got that bad.
Okay.
In fact, most of the times I borrowed. But when I didn't, there's a place that used to be called Dago's. You go there, you jam. The crowd does tips.
For real?
Yeah, you take tips.
I've heard of Dago's.
Yeah. So there you go. They tip you like 2K.
Okay.
But you're 5 people. You split that 4 ways.
Okay.
That one's going to the family.
I'm asking that because from trying to hustle for that 4-5, where you're at now, are you making a living from music? How are you eating?
I live in my own house.
Okay.
Pay my own bills.
From music?
From music.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
For sure.
100%.
And you're not going half and half with some shorty? Like you used to?
I used to, yes. But the thing is...
So you're able to eat from this?
Yeah,
How?
I'm eating. I said I'm a musical entrepreneur because there's money in everything. You just have to not think conventionally.
Okay.
One of the things that I started doing was I tried teaching. Teaching was killing my soul because you're not really helping anybody. You're just generally spewing information that some kids don't even care about, and then you make some money from it. I was like, this is a waste of time. But I do private clients sometimes. I have very few. I teach them at a rate per hour. That's not even the main source of income. I do work on platforms like Fiverr.
Love Fiverr.
Yeah. The work I do there is also musical work. All we do is some people give us projects and we make music with them that I co-do with her because she has a great voice. But the main source of income for me, shows, merch. She's wearing my shirt right now. Shows, merch, and events.
I love that. I'm asking because I really genuinely love to see that someone's able to make a living from this, because there's not enough of examples of that happening. And of course there's struggles, because everybody has struggles. But like, it's nice to know, okay, someone can...
You can.
Yeah.
You can actually. It's a lie that you can't. You just have to work for it, just like anything else in life.
Okay. So I have one of my final questions.
Yeah.
Mom.
Yeah.
Has she heard the music?
My mom is my biggest fan right now. She's been, ever since I dropped on DC, there's a song in there called Savior.
Yes.
She really liked Savior. She's like a Christian. So she was like, oh, you're doing one for God. I'm like, it's a metaphor, baby. It's not what you think.
Just let her believe whatever
I mean, she likes it. And then she came to one of my shows where I was very... you were there for that show. The show where we drank wine. Or she drank wine. And she had a great time because she like came to the show. The manager was like, is this your mom? Okay, say less. They got her wine. I think they got her food. She just sat there and watched her son perform and have all these people dancing and cheering.
Yeah.
She believed it.
Okay.
She came for that one show and she was like, I doubted the wrong person. Yeah.
So she's not sad about Deloitte not working out?
Oh yeah, she doesn't care now.
Okay.
And she's like, now you're happy to do
it. Are you guys talking?
Oh, we're
you
boys.
have a friendship?
We're boys now, right now. Okay. My mom is... You see those stories you hear about how people reconcile with their parents later on in life? Yeah, it's full circle for me right now. Amazing. Right now she's my boy. Okay. 100%.
Production.
Yes.
Who produced this? Because there's nothing that sounds like this. So I'm really curious about the production, because from MDC to this is a big shift.
Big shift, yes.
So, I mean, I've been around long enough to know that production is helpful or key in such situations.
Definitely.
What's the production on Mr. Keeng? Who's the producers, or who's the producers? What's the production?
I do my own production.
Fuck off.
Yes.
You produced this?
Yes, I made the music.
Self-produced?
In my bedroom, I made it.
Cap.
100%.
Can you make a beat right now?
Give me some.
For real?
Deadass. Give me FL. I got you.
You can play piano.
Yeah, exactly. So it's easy. It's easy to translate. Yeah. And then
that's like the open door. Like just.
It's like you plug this into the computer. It's still piano, but it can do that. Yeah. You know. But yeah, I do my own production.
So you produced this?
Yes, I did.
Alone?
The person who played a good amount of the guitars were played by a friend of mine called Rick. Okay. He was to be here today.
Okay. Instrumentalist. Yes. Alienda Mandamano.
He might be in jail, but he played some.
That's so dope. I even love the album even more now that I know it's self-produced.
I tried once in high school. Some guy came and told me, "Oh, you have a song. Let me make it for you." He's a very hip hoppy guy, so I gave him a very sad song, and then he came back with like 808s, and I was like, "I'm never touching a producer in my life." Okay. So I got a laptop. I got FL. I fumbled. Everything I do, I'm self-taught. I just fumbled until one day I did Mr. Keeng. Yeah. So.
How long did it take to put this together?
Oh, I did a song a day for what? For 12 days? Because one of the 2 days I got sick. I got really sick. So we started Mr. Keeng. Then I damn near died. I got like a flu thing. So I was out that Saturday. I was out on Sunday. Monday we got back on the horse, finished Mr. Keeng. Tuesday we finished Home. Wednesday we finished Hallelujah. Thursday we finished, like we just did song per day until it was done.
I love it. Really congratulations. I want to play the album. Yeah. And the only question I have not asked you from my list of questions is Mountains Don't Care. What does that mean?
I read a book called The Defining Decade. This lady is so profound. She said, she was driving past a certain place in the States and it said mountains don't care. And what that meant was,
because it's so different. I never heard some shit like that.
Yeah, and that lady pretty much said what MDC means is you have a problem in your life. You can go to people who will validate your problem and be like, oh, I understand where you're coming from. I get your trauma. I get that shit. Life doesn't care. Name one person who's won an Oscar for a movie they didn't produce because they got depressed. No one cares. No, I lost my mom, so I didn't make a song. Look, losing your mom is horrible. I'm not trying to say it's not. But life doesn't give a shit, you know? So you kind of need to not to as well. You kind of need to be able to work on yourself, but realize the bills will come. The consequences to not doing stuff will come. Nobody cares. Mountains, they don't care. Yeah. They just be blocking your way.
You're good with this metaphor shit. You are. I see it. I can appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. So as we wrap up, I want two things.
Yeah.
I want you and our guest who doesn't talk to perform something. But before that, I guess I like to do these interviews in this way because I like to understand
who you're dealing with.
So for me, it's a full circle. I want to play the music on the radio. I want to then speak to the person who made the music to understand how did you make this music.
Yeah.
Then I want to offer them or help them get platforms to perform on stages because I know that artists get paid because they perform.
Yes.
So I want to give them a chance to perform and get paid.
Yeah.
So then after that, I want them to come to the studio and record more music so that I can keep playing the music. Then I can see them again. It's a full circle thing.
That's beautiful.
So I'm asking about your journey because I know you didn't just make Mr. Keeng and then boom. Like this is and I feel like if you came and said, okay, what's your name? Okay, cool. What's your song? Okay, thank you. But like I don't.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
I see. You've made me get that today.
Yeah.
It kind of things take time.
Yeah. Like even I have your emails, bro. I've responded to them. I've listened to you, but it's like
I don't know you enough yet to need to call you.
Yeah, I don't want to come waste your time because then there's no vibes. I'm like, I'm not even like, you know, I'm excited, but like I do that like the whole day. I'm like Mr. Keeng. I'm like, yo, I done my research. You know, like I want to come here and give my best. Otherwise, I'm half-assing. I don't like to do that. But what do you have to say? I guess what's your final words? My final thing is not a question, but I want you to say whatever you're feeling. I want you to just give your final take.
Okay.
Say whatever.
Short and sweet. I normally would. This is the point where I normally plug myself, but the reason I do music, the reason I'm a friendly neighborhood rock star is because I want to speak to people. So if anybody's listening to this, and I know you guys are, I think you should know that you are worth more than you could ever possibly conceive. Because if everybody else who you think is great is just a person like you, so you have it in you to do that. So, get on it, man. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Keeng, you are a one of one. There's only one you. If we kill you today, like they can't make another you.
No.
Like you are literally there's only one you, and
yes.
that's your beauty.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see where you take this. The growth I've seen in just 3 years myself is incredible. So I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see you in 10 years, bro. Wow. I remember first time I saw Ben Soul on SoundCloud was 2010.
Oh.
And then you guys are like, Pencil. It's 2022. I'm like, you guys chill. Like Ben Soul been hot. And I was telling Mao on Friday, Mao, in 7 years, you're going to be as big as Sauti Soul. And I'm telling you, like, if you keep at something, bro, you just have. If you don't give up, my thing is not giving up. Because if you give up, you'll never know the what ifs.
You never know.
I used to make music. I gave up. Guys, I used to make music because I kept an eye boy. Look at where they are now. But if you give up, you never. It's whatever you choose to stick with and don't give up with. That goes.
Yeah.
And you look crazy in the beginning, but then you go, I'm Sani. But until you stick to it, and people only respect you when you've.
And then one day it's not haha Msani, it's Msani.
Yeah.
It's shake my hand.
Yeah. Respect. So mad love and blessings to you. What are you guys gonna perform for us as we close this thing down? Something short and sweet, and then we'll play Mr. Keeng.
Betty my soul, 5, 6, 7, 8. Betty my soul is alive and right on time. In dubious wines of the minds of the mad and old days. Cause God's of the reach who will reach out to preach out the fallen already, but ready to fly. See, I'll bite away your instincts, realize the divine's no contest, no contest. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you were listening to the 254 Express, and my name is Joker254. And all we are about here is playing you guys Kenyan music, but not just any Kenyan music, but it's Kenyan music that you've never heard before and sounds like nothing you've ever heard before. I don't know where you're listening from. I can see people in Pakistan. I can see people in Ireland. I can hear people in United Kingdom. The literal truth is, this is what Kenyan music sounds like. We don't have a sound. We have just different expressions and different ways of expressing ourselves. And I want to play for you guys an album, because every single day on 254 Express we play an album or a project or a mixtape, whatever it is, because we understand how hard and long it takes to make a project. So we just want to appreciate, because it's an investment for someone to make in terms of production, their time and everything. So for the next 1 hour and 8 minutes, I'm going to be playing you Keeng, Mr. Keeng, the album in its entirety. So please stay tuned. This is 254 Express, Radio 254. Let's get it. Bye.